I got your attention good. If you want to increase your mental ability and learn how to think in a different manner that actually will make you more money or actually make your life better, check out the Hustler's Mindset. Now we're going to check out this video. That's right, some dirty Air Jordans and pieces of eight. Hey, this is Glendon with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. Was going through some of the emails and I get this email a lot. Hey Glendon, there's a lot of crowds out there. Is the storage auction business, is it good for me? Honestly, I don't know if it's good for you because I'm not you. But on the crowd issue, there's always been crowds. Going forward, there's going to be crowds. But you only have to worry about you. Now, this is a story of when I went out and I was immediately pissed when I got to the property. Cars were everywhere. I mean, it was just like, but once again, following my own advice, because a lot of people see something like that, there's a bunch of cars out there, and then they start saying stuff like, oh, I'm not going to get a good unit, or if I get anything good, it's going to cost me a lot of money. I made this mental statement. I'm going to go in there and see what kind of good deal I can get. And I just left it at that because, you start getting pissed, and you start getting tense, and you start getting tight because it's a crowd. And this was early in my career. It was in the deck, or Decatur as they call it. So I go in and I sign in. It was at Public Storage on flash shows. And then, like I said, about 30-something people. Folks behind the gate. They're like literally hanging off the walls. 25 units. And it was one of those rare occasions where they advertised 22, but actually had 25. Sometimes it does swing in that manner. Well, we go on, and that area, part of town, is real hit or miss, and a lot of times it's just junk. First 6 rooms, horrible. In retrospect, some of those rooms, later in my storage auction career, I would have bought, because actually I was looking at money and I didn't know it was money because I thought it was junk, just to clear it up. But in my perspective at that point in time, my context, it was just junk. So we're going and we're going and we're going, and then there's this big room. And it's full of office furniture. And it's one of the first office furniture units that I bought. And I sat back there and I was just kind of in the cut because I didn't really know what was going to happen. It was big. It was the biggest room I ever bought. And people were kind of sizing it up. There was one of those rooms where there was a little tension because folks were like, maybe, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And man, those desks look heavy, right? But they were nice Haywood desks, solid wood, had issues. But since they were solid wood, they could be refinished. I knew that. And I kept it to myself. I wasn't one of those people like, hey, look at those desks. Yeah, for about $150 a piece, you can make them look brand new. I didn't say that. And that's if you farm the work out. So I kept my mouth closed, and I was like, okay, anyone that's spending that type of money for a Haywood desk, whether it was a long time ago or relative recent, it's a lot of money. Hayworth was like the Cadillac of office furniture at one point. And I sat back in the cut. Things kind of went. And then, for some reason, this box just falls. I mean, it must have been on the edge and the door hitting it up, and it was just waiting for the right moment to fall. Box falls on the ground, and then it hits the ground with like a chink and pops out the box, dirty Air Jordans. And at that point, I went, ooh, because they were 1985 Air Jordans. Dirty? Did. I wasn't going to get top price, but I knew on eBay I could sell them. And at that point, I had to just, because when you see something really good, you want to get excited. And I didn't want to alert the Yahoos that they were looking at like $125 right there on the ground. And I was just like, so I just casually went over there, put the Nikes, the Air Jordans in the box, and just shoved it back in the unit. And, I was like, hey, I'll help you out. And then the guy was like, if you're really going to help me out, the manager, you'll bid on it. I was like, I'll give you $1. And walked off, right? You have to play the fools just right. And they were like, he was like, going once, going, sold to the sucker. And everyone's like, ha ha! It's like, I'm like, I was not going to lose at $1. I mean, the Jordans actually did not go for what I thought. They only went for $95 because of the condition. But the Jordans paid for the rent on that unit because, I had to do some research and everything. So I get in the unit, and this is what I think. desks stacked on top of each other, but it's a lot more desks because the unit was much bigger than I thought. At that time, I didn't really know how to gauge unit size. And this bad boy was 10 by 30. Essentially, it was a 10 by 10 at the end. They knocked the wall down because it had locks on both sides. And I'm just like, what the hell have I gotten myself into? And it's just like desk, cubicle partitions, which at the time, I was able to get a little scratch for the connectors because I knew people that needed connectors, but that was only like $200. And then I had to go find someone to refinish, and I had them come get the desk because, this was not a quick sale. So they're coming to get the desk, and it takes them 2 trips. And, once we get to my friend's spot and we lay them out and everything, I'm like, I'm looking at about 6 G's. Once it's finished and everything is done. So I'm feeling pretty good because, even if it takes me a year to sell, because, I knew him, and if I cut him in on a little scratch, he wasn't going to charge me rent because he was going to be making money. So it was a money maker. Every month, sold a desk or 2, made a little money. So it was real good. And at the end of it all, he now this is how stupid I was, because when I said they came and they got everything, because there was cabinets and stuff. And he's like, hey, what do you want to do with these boxes? So I'll get the boxes, I'll load them up in my van, and I roll out with them. Well, get home, the boxes are full of magazines. The guy was, what the hell is it? These people that, he was an outside sales representative for a podiatry company, because there was all these binders of like bones and stuff and cars, and he was a manufacturer's rep. That's what it is, or the company was. And they had all these bones, and I'm going through it, and essentially I look it up on eBay. No dice, call around, nobody wants this stuff. So I'm going to have myself a really nice recycling run. Going through the stuff, get to this, what the hell? I don't know what's wrong with my brain today. Get to the petty cash thing. It's usually a little silver box or a little black box with a little silver thing. Get to it, open it up, and there's coins in there. And I'm like, okay, I can deal with that. Some nickels, some dimes, some quarters. They all add up. It adds up to some ching ching. And I go through it, and then there's the purple Crown Royal bag. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. Everybody drinks Crown Royal. So I go through the bag, and I pull it out. And at first, I'm pissed because I dumped the stuff out, and it looks like what were coins, but they were cut up into triangles. And I kind of knew what they were, but I wasn't in that frame of mind because I was just like, man, what the heck? And they were all tarnished, so they were silver. So, I put them on the desk, and I started kind of putting them back together again because a few pieces were missing. But I was able to complete 6 complete coins and 2 that were half complete. And then that's when the joy came in, because I went on eBay, and the money angel came down and said, I bless you, son. They were silver pieces of 8. They were not graded or authenticated, but even in their crappy state, they were still going for $400 to $600. I was amazed. And they were crappy. They were beat up. They had issues. There was nothing that you would say excellent or mint, not even close. They were pretty close to just being melted down for scrap. But silver back in the day, silver wasn't rolling like it's rolling now. So I put them on eBay. And lo and behold, someone really wanted those coins. Well, really, it was 2. It wasn't just 1, it was 2. And they duked it out. Because I used to sit up Sunday nights and watch eBay like people watch the Super Bowl. Because I would load up everything on Sunday and have stuff go around 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Did this for years. So I'm sitting there. So it's like 5:45. Sometimes I call my partner. I was like, hey, it's about to go off. The show's about to be on. So we're sitting there. And most of the coins are like $150, $200. But I don't care at this point, right? Because it's just more money. So last 5 minutes. Now the thing is, back in the day, before eBay instituted watch, people had to bid to actually keep up with stuff. So people were like throwing the little tag bid so they can just keep up with it. The last 5 minutes, bam, one coin jumps up to $500, and we're like, ah. Then another one, and then they kind of even out. between $400 and $500. But then those last 50 seconds, there was 2 coins in there. For some reason, to this day, I don't know why they were so special, but they were special to whoever, these 2 people that won them. And they were like, 600, 700, 800, 900, each on both coins. Same 2 bidders. Other coins, they just kind of stalled out. Went up maybe $5-6 before they went off. These last 2, uppercut. I mean, just seriously, like that uppercut that the bus driver put on that girl, it was just like, shoo! Because $12.50 on the one coin, then $1,100 on the other one, and the same guy got both. And, you know, back in the day, you get the email, hey, if the guy doesn't pay you, I'll take him. I really want him. Dude paid instantly through PayPal. At the point, I would ask what was so special, not because, not to try to get out the deal, but to learn, in case I came across that in the future. And I never did. But it's just amazing how out of this unit that was full of all this massive stuff, these big old desks, the best thing in the unit literally fit in the palm of my hand. The best thing, 6 coins, complete. 2 of them went for $2,000 out to 6. The other ones went for roughly, just average out $500. I made almost as much money on a handful of coins as I did on the desk after, the partnership and the fees and stuff. It was just like amazing. And, people were like, why do you go through people's stuff? That's why. Because you never know what you're going to find. And a lot of the times, I would get stuff, and it wasn't about the monetary value. It was about the curiosity factor, because I learned so much stuff. Because, I knew kind of sort of about pieces of 8, but after getting them and reading up on them and learning the history, it was just like, wow, there's so many things that happen in this country. But that was a dope ass deal. And just to clarify for some people, because it's like, I bought a lot of units for $1. A lot of units for $1. Because back in the day, there was such thing as dollar units. $5 units. And I'm talking about 10 by 10s, 10 by 20s, 10 by 30s, because they had a high work factor. I got a lot of these units, and a lot of these units paid off handsomely. To my last buy-in week, I was still buying garbage units, junk units, crack hole, bullet wound hole units. The units that people would see in me, they go, oh, fuck you, get away from me, I'm walking away. I bought them, and it was just rolling that dice. Many times, it was just a bunch of work. Because I got them so cheap, I still made money. But when I did hit, there is nothing like getting a unit for $1 and making $62,000. There's nothing like getting a unit for $1 and making 15. There's nothing like getting a unit and making 6. I will tell you, on average, just averaging all up, the average dollar unit that was decent, not the garbage units, because there was a lot of garbage units, generally yielded about $1,200. That was the general yield. Because from the rooter to the tutor, my partner and I sold everything. We did not cherry pick units. We sold the wood. We scrapped the metal. We put stuff on eBay. We put stuff on Amazon. We sold stuff on Craigslist. We sold stuff to friends and family. It was just money, money, money. Many people get in the game and want to sell the easy stuff, the nice stuff. And then when they're with the junk, which sometimes is very sellable stuff because they don't want to put the work in it, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to the flea market, they're like, oh, it's just garbage. Let me tell you something, my friends. Many of the units that you buy are going to contain a great deal of work to extract that profit. But hey, I'm just a dude. Just a dude that bought a lot of units. All right, this is Glendon, and I will see you in the next video.